You went pretty winger heavy here in your draft.
Yep.
You're not heavy, of course, being an ironic statement here. You're not worried about getting beat up. Mr. Gallagher and Mr. Boschford are talking a lot about how tough their team is.
Well, that's great, but toughness doesn't score goals. I think that they're locked in another era, and certainly Tony covered the team since paper was first brought into existence. So I'm not worried about that. I think when you're facing off against a team and it's sort of a playoff format, a lot of it is going to be predicated on skill, and I'm not too worried about that. I think Bertuzzi can patrol things. He's not a fighter. But hey, if it's a playoff format, nobody fights in the playoffs as it is. I think Bertuzzi can take care of himself. I think Cookie's okay. I'm not worried about that element at all.
I'm not either. I think our team is team tough, if I can bring out that cliche. But guys like Marty Gellin, a very gritty guy. I talked about Bertuzzi, but Larionov actually wasn't a big guy, but he played in a lot of very high-level, tough series and did very well. Craven was a very gritty guy, so not concerned about that whatsoever.
You guys have a couple howitzers at the back.
Yep.
Sammy Sal and Adrian Coyne. Are you guys trying to kill the goalie? Is that the strategy?
Well, it's the special teams. It doesn't matter what era it is. It's all about special teams in a format, especially a playoff format. And between Lumi, Salo, Coyne, and Lance, we got four guys who can either control play and hammer the puck. So I like our first two power play units, and I think that's something that isn't given enough credit, because arguably our second line is Larionov between Michael Samuelsson and Tony Tanti, and everybody remembers Michael Samuelsson, who almost beat the LA Kings single-handedly. So I think what people have to keep in mind here is that we drafted players when they're at their peak for the Canucks, and if you go on that premise and they play that way, I think we're going to be all right.
Absolutely, yeah. You look at some of these guys. Tony Tanti, wasn't a great skater, but man, around the net, magic hands. Could he score? He didn't have a lot of playoff experience because he played during an era when the Canucks didn't have very good teams, but boy, could he put the puck in the net. So I think Tony Tanti is going to be a really good addition to our team.
And if there's going to be a brawl, I think Dan Clucci would probably come out of his crease and hammer somebody with that blocker. I've seen some of the best blocker shots I ever saw covering this team were Dan Clucci coming out of a scrum and giving it to somebody right in the throat, so I'm not worried about that.
You guys going to hire Rolly Melanson as goalie coach?
I think we might have to hire a psychiatrist with our front office with AV and Berkey, because there's certainly one thing that's going to bug Berkey right off the hop here. There's not enough truculence here. But AV does like skating teams, puck possession teams. I think that was a good hire as our coach. You look at our lineup, they're going to move the puck. It's going to be tic-tac-toe, and it's in the back of the net.
Absolutely. I think AV is a great choice as coach. I think we were very lucky to get him. I couldn't believe he was still available when that came up, but we got him, and we're very happy with him behind the net.